For the F Shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys? How you know who we are?
What's this called, the podcast?
Morning, Jay.
Hey, welcome to the Earth. Thanks. Welcome to Morning Good.
We're here at Jake Silberman
Yo.
and Jake Velazquez,
How's it
who is
going?
fresh off a breakup.
Fresh off.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm a free man. We did just talk about it for a long time, so it's weird to just like go back into it. But what do
No,
you
this
wanna
isn't
know?
organic. I always got to be like, all right, what were we? We're not going to start from fresh.
Little peek behind the curtain for the listeners.
Yeah. How does it? Because I think I told you what was going on with me. It was like I was so far past it, and then she got a new boyfriend, and then I was like,
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what it feels like because you don't know. But also, our relationship was like 10 months. So
okay,
it's like
but
not
that's still...
long enough. I mean, it's long enough to be, but it's not long enough to be like devastated. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
I'm
mean?
also.
Does that make sense?
Clip that. It was
I'm fine.
not
it's
long
fine.
enough to be devastated, folks.
Yeah.
Can't be devastated by it.
You look like more put together than I've ever seen anybody after a breakup.
Dude, I've literally like the 2 days after we broke up, I had a couple shows, and I like wore like my nicest sweater and a watch, and I'm like, this is how you know I'm single again. Is
Yeah.
like I'm dressing up nice,
Yeah.
Jesus.
like doing push-ups before
Yeah.
you go out to get the pump.
Oh yeah, dude. I buried it so far when I like saw my ex because like I remember I saw her at one point. I lost like a ton of weight. Going back to being fat though, I've decided. But
Good move.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Happy and fat.
for comedy, dude, it's
Yeah.
so dumb. But I completely like I was just like I came over and like put my. She's like, you just look like you're doing so well, and I'm like, I really am. It was just such a lie. That I was like, no, I am doing like. I'm like, yeah, I'm just totally happy. Yeah,
7 years is crazy.
Yeah, it's long.
yeah.
That is a ton of time.
That's
the longest I ever did was like 4.
Yeah.
That's
And
long too.
That's long too, but like any past 5 is like you probably thought you were getting married, right?
Oh, totally. But it was also terrifying. Like I literally felt like I was in like a speeding car, like going towards. And my cousin told me one time, he goes, dude, you are so fucked. He's like, you're either in 2 years gonna be married or you're breaking up. She's like, all of her fucking friends are gonna get married. And I remember just like my heart was like racing. I was like, he's like,
Oh,
you're gonna have
shit.
kids in 3 years, and then he got divorced. But
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
but that's how that
Yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds crazy, but I almost want a divorce because I want to experience almost every part of life. Not like taking a life or anything, but
Yeah.
like almost.
I would much rather experience taking a life than divorce.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Especially if you get away with it.
Yeah.
There's no getting away with divorce.
Yeah, you're just like fuck. You have half-
Maybe it would be good to. Sorry, let me cut you off.
No. I mean, just like murdering somebody would be dope.
Yeah, I don't like.
Like I don't know what. I mean, there's lots of reasons not to do it, but if you just had like a little vacuum where you're like, let me just see what this would be like, I would. Yeah.
What if everyone could be regenerated?
Yeah.
So then it's like you get to experience it, but you're not really killing someone.
It's like little Nicky.
But then you really wouldn't be getting to experience it.
but
'cause
you
the
get
real,
they lose a day.
But no, because it's like the real experience is knowing you took a life and they'll never get it back. So
I
like
know,
that kind of
that's
ruins the
true.
whole.
Damn,
purpose.
now that you say like this is horrifying.
Yeah, but it's like I'm a very unviolent person. Like I don't even get in fights. Like I'm not like I never like I'm obsessed with my own morality and like I get terrified if I feel like I did something wrong. But I'm like I'm curious as to what like if you could put yourself in the brain of somebody who took a life, or you take the life of somebody who's about to take like 100 lives, but you still, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh well, if you get to be a hero,
right, yeah,
that's a
yeah,
way
yeah.
different vibe than just killing a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get to be a hero, oh my god.
Like you're next to the air marshal, and then like a terrorist comes with like a bomb, but then the terrorist shoots the air marshal, and then you grab the air marshal's gun, and
Yeah. You
Dude,
wanna
I have-
be you just want to be in the middle of an action movie.
totally.
You
yeah.
want to be a hero.
Too often, but like sometimes I know I wouldn't be that guy though, because like I have so many interactions where I puss out, and then, like
Dude,
I would not be the
It
hero.
would be so fucking lame if you got big on like a news story because you were the bitch of the situation.
Yeah.
Where you're like, yeah, he had a shot and he did not take it.
Yeah.
like those cops at the school
tried.
shooting.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. Like
always, dude.
Uvalde, you're just like, dude, you're on national news of just like hiding in a corner while kids get murked out.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
want to be that guy.
No, you don't. I think that's like up there with pedophile.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you went to jail
Coward.
later in life, you would get fucked in prison.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
totally.
You know what I
They
mean?
found out you were an absolute bitch.
Yeah.
On the flip side, that Luigi is getting like absolutely adored in
Yeah,
prison right now.
Yeah. Do you think he's getting a lot of hole?
I think they're.
Well, he's bi, dude, so he's probably having a
know,
good ass
he's
time.
bi.
Yeah.
I think they're getting ladies in there for him as well.
That's crazy.
I think there's like probably. I think he's getting literally whatever he wants.
How does that work? I don't know why. I just picture them drilling a hole in the wall, like a glory hole, and then some lady just like lifts her skirt, so he's still in jail, but like his dick is like going out.
I think they got something going on for Luigi.
That'd be cool.
Well, there's
Yeah.
always the stories of like the hot female like parole or like prison guards that fuck like the prisoners.
I don't even think they got to be hot. I think
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of them are just getting dick down, and they
Yeah,
are
yeah,
regular. They
Yeah.
are absolute regs.
Imagine that just being like a total slut, and you just got like a factory of dick. And prison dudes probably fuck so good, dude. Like,
Well,
just
there
some-
was the one with it was the cops though. It was like that one lady cop fucked like all her partners. Yeah.
She got absolutely dicked down by like 7 guys.
It's so funny to like just be like if your like girl became a police officer, it's like you just be so nervous. It's
Yeah.
like you're just with all the heroes. You're with all the opposite of what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are
yeah.
scared of. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I think
also-
it'd be worse if they were firefighters.
Like a female fire-
if you were
I don't
to
think
la-
there's such
if-
thing as a female firefighter actually.
No,
haven't
I think
seen
there
one.
are because they got
Really?
in a bunch of dude. There's that video. That
L.A.
ca-
The bunch
yeah,
of
there's
I'm gonna
that
check
video
something. I'm
that
listening now.
there's that video that came out during the LA fires where there was like the promo material for like we need more women firefighters, right? And there's this lady firefighter who's like, some people ask me like, could you save my husband if he was in a fire? And her answer was like, look, if your husband is laid out in a fire, he should have been there in the first place. It's like, oh my god, we're so fucked.
Yeah.
That's
We're
hilarious.
so fucked.
Yeah, because I heard that there's a bunch of like lesbians in LA. That was like the thing. Like half the LA fire department like leaders.
Yeah,
were-
the 3 chiefs.
yeah.
Were all
Yeah.
lesbians, and they all call each other chief too.
Is there is chief a male only thing, or it would be
No, no, I don't know.
chieftress or something? I don't
Chieftress?
know.
No, but there's like all the promo videos of like, short cop haircut lady firefighters.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're just like, yeah, fuck, all right.
Well, you know, probably is a thing though. I'm realizing with like female prison guards is like higher testosterone in men and women leads to a higher sex drive. So like when women like aren't fucking their husbands, they actually give them testosterone because it like makes them hornier. So I assume the women who go into law enforcement are probably hornier
Because
because they have higher testosterone.
well, because you're influenced by the people you're around.
right.
So you're
yeah.
around all this testosterone, so you become.
Just, dude, I mean, I would probably kill myself if I found out my wife had been getting dicked down by prisoners for like
Yeah,
a decade.
Oh my
It's rough.
god!
I just
dude.
don't see how you survive that. Like, I feel like at some point you're just like, dude, I had a life. I can't like just go back out. How would you ever trust a woman again?
Yeah.
Like anytime you'd be like, dude, like it would just like that flash would just hit you. You'd be like, oh my fucking.
It's
God.
funnier too to think about her being like fully like she got banged by the neo Nazis, the Crips, like
Yeah,
every
yeah,
kind of
And
tough
it's
guy.
like you're like I literally followed all the rules.
yeah,
That was
Yeah.
supposed to lead to me getting this like loving relationship, and instead one guy got to take a life. I always wanted to experience that.
Yeah.
You got to take a life, and you got to fuck my wife.
Take my life, take my wife.
Take my life, take my
Yeah,
wife.
dude, that's got to be so fucking brutal. I don't know,
Yeah.
getting cheated on in a way, like getting cheated on when it's just like, whatever, like your girl's at a bar, she makes out with some random guy or fucks some random guy. It's like what that's like sucks, but at least it's just like in the course of normalcy of like, yeah, people get drunk, people get horny or
Yeah.
whatever. But like when it's like that level where you're like, dude, you have like a disease inflicting your brain or something.
Yeah.
Like, you're like you want to dick this badly that you like ruined like 9 lives. Like this is crazy.
Well, it's probably also a thing too where you're probably like, this is so fucked up, but that's why it's so
course,
hot.
of
Like,
course.
you got to be
Yeah.
like, this is
Yeah.
so wrong.
Also, it's fucked up if your girl doesn't matter what it is, but if she's cheating on you at work,
yeah.
because then every morning you're like, "Where the fuck you off, you whore?"
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they also now like with prisoners, like a lot of them, like they get like cell phones snuck in. So I saw like a news story like just last week of like the lady got caught. I think it was in England, but she got caught because the prisoner like filmed it and like
Oh.
released it to the internet. So like not only are like you cheating on your husband with a prisoner, but the prisoner's like, I'm about to put this on fucking line.
Yeah.
And then she got caught and went to jail. Like I think she's got to go to jail for a minute. Like it's like a big.
She's
it's
like, please put me in the dick jail.
Yeah. I'm actually a man now, and I'd
Yeah.
love to be with my fellow gender.
Is
Yeah.
there male corrections officers at female prisons?
There
is there
has
a
to be.
guy that
yeah,
does that?
there's like a lot of
There
rape
has to
that
be,
happens.
yeah.
I feel like what'd you say?
There's a lot of rape that happens in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy.
Actually, I don't know. That's an
fucked
Orange is
up.
the New
Well, the
Black. so I'm
funny's
just
gone, I
assuming
guess.
that's
yeah.
good.
At least the women like they seem willing to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's just like, oh, damn.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
like you have a
that's
gun.
rough.
oh, that sucks.
That's
Yeah.
the best. My favorite Norm Macdonald joke. He has a joke about like prison rape, and he's like, everybody says the same thing about prison rape. They're like, yeah, it's bad, but what are you gonna do? He's like, what are you gonna do? They're in cages and you have guns. He's like, in what other scenario is it easier to rape, like stop somebody from raping? He's like, if you heard I was getting raped backstage, you would stop me, and you have no guns, and nobody's at a jail cell.
Yeah, it's
But it is like I don't know. It's a crazy thing too, because everybody has the same mentality. They're like, yeah, they're getting raped, but like, that's what they get for breaking the law.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but
Yeah.
these are varying laws they're breaking. It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
one good. And probably the worst people are probably getting raped the less. Like a mass serial killer is probably like not getting it as bad as like some guy who like has tax
well,
problems.
the one justice is that's usually pedophiles.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's some really bad ones out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
They get the worst.
Opposed to the good
But
ones.
then there's probably a bunch of like insurance fraud guys just getting fucked.
Yeah. Well, and
Just
everybody.
getting fucked because they are like, have glasses and push pencils all
Yeah,
day.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and then you like everybody says the same thing. There's always that guy that's like, yeah, no, I went to prison, but I didn't get raped. You're like, all right, but like, would you say you did? You know what I mean? Who's gonna be like, yeah,
and
no,
I was raped.
yeah.
It's
You're
so funny to have to be like everybody knows that guy who's like I went to prison but I didn't get raped. Like that's like this common archetype of person that is just walking around
I'm saying it like
that.
it's common.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know my prison rape guy. Of
Yeah.
course,
Like
yes.
everyone's got that uncle
Yeah,
that drinks
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
Just like everyone's got that cousin that went to prison and
Yeah.
said I didn't get
I
raped. in there."
generalize a lot with like
Yeah.
wild
That's
things.
so funny.
But it's like, who's gonna walk out of prison and be like, yeah, no, I was basically just like a human fleshlight in there. Like, why would you tell
My
people
best
that?
friend went to prison, small Jewish kid, similar to me, and left with like really long hair. And I'm like, I can't ask.
Yeah.
How long of a prison
Just-
sentence?
3 years.
What do you do?
Sold guns in New York City.
That's
Yeah.
sick. That's
He,
such a
he might have got
cool
some
reason.
respect though.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
might have got some respect. Like he was also like
Okay, hold on, Mike.
kind of good at baseball, and he played on the prison softball team, and I think his like team won the championship. So I'm sure like his teammates were like, "No, we got to protect this kid." Like
No,
I
they
think
put
he
a
had
bat in
some
his ass.
people looking out for him. It was cracking me up though. He's like, "Yeah, they're literally giving convicts bats, metal
I know,
bats."
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Dude, could
it's
you imagine the
insane.
feeling of being so powerless for like 9 years, and then you got a metal baseball bat in your hand? You're like, shit. How
Yeah,
do I
yeah.
not just?
Did you ever visit him?
I visited him once, and it was because it was like minimum security. So I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, that's fine," but it's not. It just means it was just really hardcore criminals, but on good behavior.
Ooh.
Like someone still got murdered while he was in prison.
Oh shit.
There was like hardcore murderers and fucking
yeah.
true felons. I mean, I remember walking around. These guys just had like the shark eyes. Where
Yeah.
it's like they've killed. Like
So
they've
the soul
100%
is
killed
gone.
People.
The
Yeah,
soul
yeah.
is gone.
But
Wait,
he
so
dapped up a neo-Nazi, and he's a Jewish kid, and he's like, "Yeah, they eat the kosher meal because it's better food."
Oh wow.
Yeah. Which
Oh
I
wait,
thought was
how did that work
interesting.
for him? Because there's always the argument of like people are like, you have to join the neo Nazis if you go, but I guess you like don't.
I don't think you have to join anything.
Yeah,
I think it's more if you want to like, if someone's fucking with you, then
You get extra
you could
protection.
fall. If you need protection, you could fall into something where you need to join something. But
Damn.
you could also keep to yourself. and
Wait,
just-
was your friend like a little nerd?
he looked nerdy? I wouldn't say he's a nerd, but he's got the nerd look though.
But like, okay, like when he was doing the crime, he was just like, I'm just doing this to make money, or was he involved in like, oh, I'm like also in a gang?
He did not necessarily need the money. Like I think his family maybe was going through a tough time not sending him stuff, but they were pretty well off. You know, like
Sorry,
they were in
no, I meant
college.
outside of prison when he did the crime. Why was he involved in selling guns? He was just like doing it because
Yeah, he was living in Bushwick, and we like met this lady, and she would like come up and smoke weed with us all the time.
Yeah.
And then he never told me this, but I guess what was happening, how he knew this lady was like she was an arms dealer, like, or she just was like a gangster,
Yeah.
and she like convinced my friend to be like, "Oh, guys won't buy guns from me because I'm a woman." So I
Oh.
had him kind of like
be the front man.
Front man.
Dude,
Yeah.
do you know how easy it would be for me to sell guns in this city? Because I could just go to Florida, get a suitcase, take a mega bus back here.
Yeah.
It would be so easy.
Yeah.
Dude, I could literally just be selling AR-15s out of this apartment.
Like
Yeah.
moment.
Florida was great.
We'll
dude.
visit you in prison when you're getting absolutely railed. Yeah, we'll be like, hey, that was a great idea. You had on your fucking podcast
We
that
knew
one
you had
time.
it, yeah.
Yeah, because that is the thing. You could just go to a state where it's legal, bring it over. Maybe like, I don't know, have to shave off the serial numbers or something like that. But
It's crazy how the bus, it's like the ultimate criminal, like transportation. Like
And I
how's
take
the
it so much,
Luigi
dude.
took
Yeah.
the bus to Pennsylvania.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
bus and train in this country, truly, you just walk on.
Yeah, train.
There's no checks.
Totally.
And
It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's actually something I hope never goes away, even though like, sure, but it's like exciting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice
Well,
to know
there's
that option's there.
There's that Attell joke where he's like, no one ever bombs the bus station because if you go, people will go, damn, someone already did this, bitch.
It's very true.
Well, it's like, yeah, I always like, me and my roommates used to play this game where we get kind of high and we'd be like, all right, what is your escape route? Like, you now, the government's coming for you and you're like a felon.
Yeah.
My thing is like, shave the head.
I mean, we just literally saw this with Luigi, and he got 3 days out.
I know, but he didn't like,
He did a lot of things right. He did things I didn't even know you could do. He
Yeah.
had,
What'd he do?
A bag on his phone where you couldn't track it. He had shit like I didn't know existed.
Oh,
he did a
shit,
lot of
okay.
shit well.
But then he still ended up getting caught in a McDonald's.
McDonald's was dumb, but also if I'm in the fucking middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, at McDonald's, I probably don't think I'm gonna get caught.
I
I
feel
would
like
just go further. Like, you don't sleep. Like, I would take a bunch of Adderall and like not sleep for like 4 days until I'm like so many states away.
You also
Yeah.
go Waffle House, clearly.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, you're like, that guy's being calm and there's a fight going on here, so we're clearly not going to pay attention to the guy who's just chilling.
Also, McDonald's is just like there's no such thing as McDonald's without tons of cameras. I mean, it's a massive corporation. Waffle House is big, but it's not the same thing. I feel
Yeah.
like you could kind of fly under the
I also
radar
feel
there.
like you just at some point have to like, I think part of the plan has to, especially the way he did it, where it was like all the little details, and he kind of like was able, especially to get out of New York City, drop the
Yeah,
money,
that was
drop the
incredible.
fake Monopoly
That's
money
so
bag
incredible.
and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you not have a like, yo, dude, I'm gonna go to like a safe house for at least a month, just someplace where it's like, I've already rented this thing for a month off the grid. I have food. Like, it's like you had so much to get away, but like the easier part seems to be like just go into straight hiding.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
use
what
the
he should've-
internet. Like, you don't do shit.
Well, the financial, like the move is all the money you have, you get it into Bitcoin because you could put it on a USB. So then you're traveling with like a good amount of money with like super light.
Yeah.
And then what he should have done is gone to a coast and just sail. Once you just get out that way.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
went like into the country. He should have went like down to Florida and gotten a boat to South America.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would
you
have been the
coulda
move.
You could have gone, yeah, because if you go out on
Because
the
that only
river-
takes 3 days to get down to
I
Florida.
mean,
and
honestly,
then-
they didn't know who he was, though. He could have been like, all right, I'm going to do this, and I'm literally going to JFK. Like, he could have got on a
Right,
plane
right,
that
right.
night, because it's not like he was known until days later.
Totally.
Like, he could have been like, under his real name, be like, oh yeah, I went to fucking Chile or something.
And I don't.
then-
I never understand the looking this like. I would just shave my head. Like, I don't know why you don't shave your head because
Yeah.
like they're looking for a guy with hair. I guess that one's different because you can only see someone's face.
he should have just shaved his fucking
Yeah,
eyebrows.
his eyebrows.
yeah.
You just shave the
Yeah.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
I would
Also-
get different contact lens. Like, I don't know why people don't do different contacts. I mean, I've always
This
said
is
this.
truly like this. I don't know what it is about. Do women do this? Do women ever go, how would you get away with crimes? Because like every group of guys has this conversation.
All the time.
Like, are women ever like, yo, what would you do if you murdered somebody?
Yeah.
We're like, we got to do the contacts, man. We would, and it's also like, we got to do the fucking safe house, bro.
Well, I think for us it's fun because we aren't usually planning stuff. And
It's like we
women-
have like an intricate escape plan, but we can't do dinner.
It's like women are naturals at it.
Yeah.
The thing about women murderers, they get away with it almost all the time. I feel like drowning kids at Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
Important case.
Yeah. Important case. Important case.
But it's I don't know. I think there's because what were we talking about before? The I don't know. But it was a similar thing where like I heard on a podcast like Genghis Khan, women weren't warriors, but they were rulers because they're just so good at planning shit.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the escape plan. I think they got it built in.
Yeah,
They don't talk about it, but they know it.
You need like a side chick to be like, all right, if I did this, how would we get away with this?
Yeah,
And she's like, I
yeah.
got a whole plan, baby.
Yeah.
I got a whole plan.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Well, I've always said this. I would commit a crime in a different race. Like it just makes sense to do like blackface. If you're gonna commit murder, if you're gonna commit murder, like you're not like above doing blackface. So
That's
like
so funny.
they would not be looking like you could do it
Dude,
convincingly
the fact
enough.
that you said I've always said is
look,
I love it.
you know me.
Yeah.
And I've always said
That's so funny.
that you would doing blackface would be so fucking to
It's
like
incredible.
it would be really truly one of the most incredible crimes is to kill somebody and then have the also moral outrage of like, and he did blackface.
Yeah.
And he did black.
Or that's what they get you on.
Yeah.
Like Al Capone with that.
Yeah, New York City at some point passed an
It's like-
anti-blackface law.
Yeah.
I feel like
they're like his blackface was so good it could have been a black man,
Yeah.
but we know he did do blackface, so he's getting arrested.
yeah.
I feel like though you would just the way cops work, you'd be like, no, you'd want to be a white guy.
What do you mean?
They would hunt down a fucking black guy, bro.
Right, that's a good
Yeah,
point
that's
too.
what-
Yeah.
If they actually thought it was like, we're looking for a black man, they're like, all right, well, but if they were like, this
But
white
I'm saying
guy-
you go into a bathroom immediately and then you wipe it all off.
Yeah.
Or I
okay.
think there's just really good prosthetic stuff now. You just get a fake face.
Yeah.
You just kill someone as like Tom Cruise.
Well, okay, but if you really, the dark part of this is like, because if you look like, they don't have a crazy, the solve rate for murder is like okay,
yeah.
but they still like I think like maybe it's like 6 out of 10 murders are solved, and a lot of it is because generally like any crime is connected to somebody you know.
Yeah.
But if you were like actually just a psycho,
you just kill hookers, that's like what people do, right?
or like a homeless guy, or
Yeah.
like or like if you were like if you want, you would go to a different town, kill a not even a hooker or homeless, just a random person, and then leave that town and never go back. Like that type of shit that's what scares me. Of like you could just be the wrong guy in somebody's path and be like, yeah, he just wanted to kill.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's how like a lot of serial killers. Like it's just like, oh, I was just walking here and I saw this person. I had no affiliation with them. And then you just get killed because you were at the wrong place at the wrong time. But those murders are so hard to solve because it's like it wasn't an angry spouse.
Right.
It wasn't a coworker.
Totally.
It was straight up like random. And that's why those dudes are fucking terrifying.
yeah, because
It-
so many people pass through town.
dude, like imagine, it's like we don't really live in this era anymore, but like, and that's why those movies are cool, but like Zodiac and shit, where there is like a serial killer
Yeah.
in your city, you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, it would have been crazy if one of those guys found Luigi and then killed him because he's a perfect guy to kill. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's a man on the run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's like-
He's like, oh, you got no family, no
No
friends.
ID?
Yeah. Let's get you. Well, I saw an interesting thing. We were watching a serial killing the other day, and the guy had a really weird angle that I don't necessarily agree with. It was a guy searching. He was like, I research serial killers. Not because I don't want to get inside the mind of the serial killer. I want to get inside the mind of the victim. And what we need to do is protect the groups that are like, it was very interesting. And like, he was like, we need to protect the elderly, sex workers, and homosexuals because they're most likely to get murdered by serial killers. He was like, we need to stop homophobia, to stop. And I was like, I don't want to just be like, this sounds like a weird progressive thing, but it does kind of sound like a weird. Like,
Yeah.
It
I
also
don't even,
seemed-
how would you even do that?
Yeah, I was like, how are you gonna like?
How are you going to protect old people more than we protect old people in terms of like stopping them from getting killed by a serial killer?
It's also like got to not be that good of a rush to kill an old person as a serial killer because you're like, it's got to feel better
That's
to
practice round.
kill. Yeah.
Practice round.
That's
It's just so easy.
You're
You're
in the
like-
gym alone.
Yeah.
You're doing you're
Yeah.
doing layups.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's got to feel like so. You're like, yeah.
What do you think's the most satisfying?
Probably killing like a strong man. Like
I know, but it's hard. Well, it's like you got to find the balance.
It would be wild to watch you kill a strong man.
I'd be crazy
I would be like,
because it'd mean I
"Holy
would just be
shit."
so skillful.
Yeah, I'd be
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ.
an
Yeah,
assassin.
like a littler guy who has like that.
Jujitsu.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, there's just like, it's also like, did you ever watch the show Barry?
yeah.
Like, I feel like the scenes where he kills someone are so good because a lot of times it's not that he's like the more athletic, bigger one. He's just the one that's more down to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like the grabbing the gun and shooting you is like when it's actually happening, people panic, but it's just someone who's calm, cool, and collected. That's insane enough to take a life. That usually wins.
Oh,
It's like the
100%,
insane
yeah.
guy that wins more than I mean, size obviously plays the biggest role, but like, there's just so many psychos that will take anyone down because they're psychos.
Well, I learned that like strength, because I was talking to my brother about it. He does fighting. Apparently strength is like not as big of it. Like weight and speed matters, but apparently like the power of a punch is weight and speed, or mass and speed. It's not like, so like you could be real. I mean, obviously like these things go together. It's like obviously if you're stronger, you could do certain things like put somebody in a headlock. But apparently like punching wise, like being really strong is not like a giant advantage. Like
No, like if you know how to throw a real punch, you can knock out a big dude who's way stronger than you.
yeah,
all
which I
torque.
don't know how to do either.
Yeah,
all
it
and I'm
is.
not strong.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
that guy Sean O'Malley is a fucking stick figure, but he's just really lanky.
yeah.
And then he's got a ton of torque, so it just like whips around and fucking
Yeah.
knocks people out.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, that's all I know about.
yeah,
Some
of
guy-
torque, a lot of torque.
A lot of torque.
I've been like weirdly standing up because I bitched out a couple weeks ago. I had some guy try to fight me after a show. So like,
No way, because what you said on stage?
So like I said, I'll read whatever. I said the story last week. Who cares? You hear it again, fucking listeners. I said that so I'm like fucking listeners. I said it like a bitch, but some guy like I was like talking about gay stuff on stage, and this guy's like. This like hood dude's like, you never talk about men having sex with men in front of women, which is just an absurd rule.
Yeah.
I don't.
You only got to do that with the boys.
Yeah. It's so funny to do. I love this thing. It's like don't use bad language in front of women. It's like I have sex with women. I lick women's buttholes. So it's like
Yeah.
wild to be like don't curse. in
Oh,
front of
he
them.
was saying it in more of like, yo, there are women here. We don't talk about this type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just a
weird.
dumb rule. But anyways, the guy tried to fight me after the. I told him,
Wait. It went from that to I'm about to beat your ass.
Well, I told him to shut the fuck up, and it was in front of his wife, so he was just like, you know.
Oh.
And then after the show, he like was like, "Where the fuck is he?" And I was just I could just.
Is this at the pair?
No.
Okay.
This is in Providence, but somebody because
Thank
my
God.
his back is.
Getting your ass beat at the pair, it got to be a pretty low.
gotta be tough.
Yeah.
You're like, I was so close to getting my ass beat at the cellar. I'm a block away from the cellar, dog. Beat my ass there.
Yeah. Can we move this fight over here?
Yeah.
But also pair of security. So this place didn't have security, which is fine because it's like they didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah.
But, the guy's like backed his turn to me while I hear him talking about me. He's like, "Where the fuck is that guy?" He's like, the second he walks outside, his life's gonna change. He doesn't know where the fuck I'm from.
His life, dude,
Scary.
that's scary.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
terrifying.
His life is going to change is like a crazy way to say I'm about to fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
giant hood black dude, like 6. I'm adding inches every week to his height, but
Yeah,
like
7'4".
9 inch, 10 inch cock, 11 inch cock. The cock was insane.
you could see it in his pants when he
Yeah.
walked up to me. But
Damn.
no,
His life is going to change. That's like one of the scarier things I've
Yeah.
heard.
the funniest thought I had though, he's like, he has no idea where I'm from. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't hosting, so I have no idea. I was like, I did not ask that question, but it was, and then he turns. I was like, I introduced myself because I'm like, eventually he's gonna see me, and then he's like, you never tell another man to shut the fuck up. He goes, you walk outside that door, anything could happen. Like your life could change immediately. He's like, you have no idea who I am or where I'm from, and then I eventually shook his hand because he's like, I was like, I just want to. I was trying to not be a total bitch, but also not fight the guy. I was like, look, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to do my job up there. I'm
Yeah.
trying to do my job. You interrupted me. But then I shook his hand, which I felt like a pussy about. But anyways, because
No. I think a handshake is like, yo, we're going to solve this like dudes.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You
okay.
shouldn't feel like a bitch.
Okay.
If you like kissed his boots or something,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
would have. Yeah, but
Right.
like if you're like, yo, bro, that's how you like stop a fight. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, man. Like, are we really gonna fight? Are you
Yeah,
really about
yeah.
to like get in a fight tonight? You're gonna beat my ass in front of your wife? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah.
You know, no, I think that's not a
Thank
bitch
you.
move.
Thank you.
You would have been a way bigger bitch if you were just got your face changed.
What do you-
By-
oh,
by-
yeah.
Yeah.
I would have felt way
If
worse.
we were doing this while you were talking to a fucking like, hit up jaw, yeah, like,
Yeah.
No, I mean, dude, like I played pickup basketball my whole life. A lot of that shit is just like a lot of talk, and then it's like, come on, bro. Like, are we really about to fucking are we really about to do like you really
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
fight about some bullshit like this? Like,
I should have told him, I'm like, fighting me is literally like me fighting a baby.
Yeah.
This is so unfair. I should
Yeah.
have just been like,
Yeah.
this is unfair.
Yeah.
What would you prove by kicking my ass?
yeah, like beating a comic's ass in Providence is not the win I think he thought it was gonna be.
No, I was like,
it's
if
just
you
like,
everyone would have been like, of course.
yeah,
You're
it's like,
fucking
yeah,
6'5".
you beat his ass. Like, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
Um,
his wife there?
yeah.
What was her reaction? Because it's always weird watching the women. Because sometimes women are like egging them on because
Yeah.
they feel like they got to be like, yeah, my man doesn't or sometimes it's like sadder when they're like, babe, come on,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just like she was just like, I'm not, like, she was just uninvolved.
He does this every week.
Yeah. But it wasn't like but then since then I like weirdly have been like, okay, let's stand the ground. Like I got like a thing with like there's some guy on the train. Well, I just had like I don't know, the other day I was walking by like a PETA thing and I'm like curious about veganism. This will all relate at some point. I start stories over here.
It's
they end
all,
up over here.
yeah. It's the weave. What Trump would call. The
Yeah.
weave.
But I see this like the like the vegan they're wearing like the V for Vendetta masks, holding like videos of like animals being like murdered.
Yeah.
And I was like curious about it because like I'm an open minded guy. I'm like, let me hear about veganism. And then the guy just starts coming up to me and being such a dick. He's like, so why do you think it's okay to kill animals? And I'm like, that's what? And it was this like European guy who just starts like immediately starts a conflict. He's
PETA's
just,
got to be one of the biggest failures.
yeah, it's like you're a terrible salesman. He's just walking up. He's like, so you think it's okay to take the life of an animal? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm curious about your organization.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just funny to be like, I got bitched out by this 6'4" black dude, so you know how I'm gonna become a man? Try to fight a vegan.
I just punched the guy in the face of PETA. I'm like, shut
He
up.
just turns to dust.
Yeah, it was just so funny. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to learn more. He's like, your actions speak louder than your words, so your words don't matter. I'm like, this is such bad. But then immediately I got on the train and some guy like shoved me with his arm, and he was like a Brooklyn hipster, and I immediately just like snapped, and I was like, why the fuck did you push me? Like I turned into like a douche. I was like, why'd you push me? He goes, I was like, there's no reason to be a fucking dick, dude. Everybody's trying to get where they're fucking going, and I just like laid
The
into
fact
this-
that in your mind you just see the vegan guy still, you're just like, this was all because of a fucking piece of shit vegan.
Yeah.
This fucking vegan guy pissed me off today.
Violence.
Yeah, but that just stuff like this just keeps happening to me where it's just these weird, I don't know.
Well, I mean it really does suck now. Like, not like it was ever probably a great time, but I do feel like there was just like a time probably in this country before like everybody had a gun or everybody had like real training where it was like at most like maybe a few punches could be thrown and then it would be like done. But now it's like everybody is like trying to get like a video of a guy like literally getting his face kicked in.
That's a good point. Yeah,
So it's like, I don't know, like now I'm just like, I do anything to avoid, like, I'm like, if anybody ever wanted to fight, I'd just be like, no, we're good. Like I have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you just don't know anymore. Like it's so easy to have a weapon in this country.
totally.
That like, if your last
But I don't
moment
think
is
it's
like,
gotten-
why the fuck did you do that? And you're like, oh damn, I'm bleeding out on the C train right now. Like I don't want to go out that way.
But I don't think it's gotten. You're good. I don't think it's gotten easier than it was. Like I think the '70s were probably more people with guns. You don't think so?
No, I
think it's just different. I think it was different. I think there was maybe like more average people with guns, but not
Right
more
now, there's
criminals
more
with
like
gu- now there's
internet
more,
radical.
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like every other day. If you could spend all day being like subway ass kickings, and it would be like, it would never end.
Yeah.
and it was just like,
It's the
But
world star-
like I feel like in the '70s, you're more likely to get fucked up on the subway than now.
yeah, maybe because it was like the '70s in New York was like more dangerous, but just in general, more people have martial arts training now than they ever did.
That's a great point.
true.
So it's like even if you're not getting a knife or a gun, it's like, oh, dude, like I'm a blue belt. I'll beat your fucking ass, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, it's not just like a bar fight anymore. It's like, bro,
Right.
like this guy is literally like trained.
Also,
Yeah.
people are mentally ill. Everyone's
Yeah.
on edge from
Yeah.
looking at their phones all day. So I think the snapping comes so much easier. I mean, I'm never trying to fight, obviously, but like I snapped at some guy the other day because I'm like getting on the subway to go sit down, and he's like, "Excuse me," I'm like, I'm literally sitting down. I turn around, he's fucking like 6'5". I'm like, this guy could have killed me. Could have killed me.
It was the same guy at the comedy club.
Yeah, so he's going around trying to fuck us up.
Yeah. Well, I'm also like I'm an in between where like I'm not trying to fight people ever.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to find if there's a balanced way to just like stand up for myself while also not like
I think you got to go like Larry David all the time. I think it's got to be like neurotic and annoyed versus like fuck you.
yeah.
Because if you're like, hey, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
How many people are going to beat that dude's ass? But if you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Then it's like, oh, these are
Right.
basically like aggressive words now.
yeah,
But if you're like, I noticed that you kind of bumped me.
Right.
They're like, how many people are like, well, I did, then it's like, then you kind of can like use your mind
right.
versus like, you still might get like brushed off, but like, you're probably not going to get your ass beat.
Totally. But there's a weird balance in between those two where like some people, if they see weakness, will go further.
Sure.
So it's like a weird balance to try
Yeah.
to figure out. You're like, is this? You have to literally mentally be like, is not that offense never work. Like there's no reason to be offensive because you want to avoid a fight at all costs.
Yeah.
I'll pull a bitch out if I need to. I pulled a bitch out real close to here recently.
Like you said, bitch to a guy.
No, I was biking. This car almost hits me, and I got so mad, and I was like, learn how to fucking drive. And then he lowers the window, stops the car, and he's like, I will fuck you up. And I was like, you got it. I bitched right out.
I've done the exact
Yeah.
same thing, same exact scenario.
Yeah,
like literally,
yeah.
I was like, fuck you. I'm in the you're driving in the bike lane. He goes,
Yeah.
you want to fucking fight me right now? I was like, nope.
Yeah. Like, that's what, like, I will maybe try to stand up for myself, but then as soon as someone like is like, okay, let's go, I'm like, nah, I was joking. I was joking.
You have to like. I think people are pretty good at eyeing it up though. Like if you see a guy on the subway who you're like, all right, like I get the vibe here that this guy probably is not going to want to fight. You can like do it, but there are times where you're just like, yeah, I'm not saying shit to this guy.
Yeah.
But then it's like it is weird. Like there was that video a few years ago before I lived in New York where it was like this dude got on the subway with like his 4 kids, and he was like, get the fuck out of my way, me and my kids. And it was packed. It was like a pretty viral video because it was like around like the George Floyd time, and he was black and they were like white. So everybody was like, it was tense, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, he was kind of crazy though. He was like out of his mind. And he had a bunch of kids with him. He's like, me and my kids need to sit down. And people were like, dude, there's nowhere to sit. I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
And it was a lady being like, kind of like, hey man, like you got to chill out. Like it was like a rush hour train.
Yeah.
And he was like, if you say that shit to me again, I'll fucking beat your ass. And she goes, I'm telling you to chill out. And he slapped her. And the guy it looked like he was like, didn't do anything. And then it's like, look, dude, in that scenario, the guy was way bigger and stronger. You just have to get your ass beat.
yeah,
Which sucks, dude.
It does suck, but like
sucks.
truly, like he like slapped her, and like the whole energy of the train like looked at the guy she was with.
It's like, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
And he just looked down at the ground. It was like the most bitch made video. And it's like, look, dude, it's gonna suck, but you're at a subway, you're not alone. The fight will probably get broken up. You might get a couple to the face, but you have to hit him.
100%.
You cannot let your lady get slapped by a strange man and just be like, so what's up? Like he did everything in his power not to do anything. And it was just like, bro, if she doesn't dump your ass or divorce your ass, she's gonna hate you for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks at her and he's like, what did you say?
Yeah.
Apologize.
Apologize to this black king right now. Yeah, it was one of the more
That's
bitch made
brutal.
performances. You just have to be like, all right, there are certain scenarios where I'm gonna get my ass beat.
Oh,
You
totally.
also could potentially not just immediately throw a punch. You could also be like, did you fucking hit a woman right now? And just like rally the troops.
yeah, but
of
the
train.
hard part about that though is like, then he's gonna get the first punch on you.
Yeah,
You think so? You think you just have to swing immediately?
I think you have to immediately go for his face or throat and just be like, hopefully
just
I
kick
get
him
a
in.
couple, and then the train like chaos ensues.
Yeah.
It's it might be different if you were like alone. You're like, dude, I might die because this guy might not stop hitting my head against the concrete. But when you're in like a train scenario
Right,
and he's
right.
got kids, you're like, I have to hit you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
It's
what you
like-
got to do is I would start hitting him and then tell my wife, big babe, hop in. Like,
Yeah,
this is you. He hit you.
Get your
in here.
revenge now.
Yeah, hit him in the balls while I hit him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I immediately was like, oh, I would be a bitch, but I realized I actually was in a similar thing. I was in college and this guy pushed my girlfriend. We're at like a VIP where we're in like a booth, and this guy pushed my girlfriend. So I pushed him back, and then he socked me in the face and then ran into the crowd. And then for 3 days, I guess this guy was like friends with some guy in my fraternity. He pulled a gun on a chick, and nobody could just get rid of him because nobody would just like stand up to this because like it was like, what are we gonna do? This guy has like a gun. And
Yeah.
he's like the friends of somebody in this fraternity, and like
Jesus.
is just out of his
That's
mind.
weird. Yeah, my friends. I got to witness one where I was at a bar in the Upper East Side, and some guy is like trying to hit on my friend's girlfriend, I guess. And my friend's like not even paying attention because he's like whatever. And then she said something to like tell him to get away, and he called her a bitch. And my friend just turns around and just no hesitation punches him right in the face, and he like stumbles back, and then slowly you just see blood coming down his forehead, and we were like, well, that was pretty alpha. that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's
Because no one feels bad for the guy.
No.
Like, they got punched in
Yeah.
the face because like he called her a bitch.
Yeah.
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 One time I was at like this like kind of festival thing, and a guy, he like slapped my girlfriend's ass as she walked by, and I always wish I'd punched him, but I just grabbed him. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he immediately was like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
But you do kind of wish you're like, it would have been cooler just to hit him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you're just like, you're in that moment where like, fuck, like, it's like that split second of like, all right, he did something wrong, but it wasn't so like he didn't hit her or anything. He was drunk and smacked a woman's ass, which you shouldn't do, obviously. And he didn't clearly know the guy walking. Like we were further enough apart that it wasn't like we were holding hands. So he just thought there was a woman alone, which is like creepy. But he just like immediately was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Right? And then it's harder to hit a guy because you're like, fuck, he's like immediately trying to solve it.
Yeah.
But you are just like, I should have just hit him.
Yeah, well, because you're like, that's such an insane thing. It's very funny to be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this stranger I assaulted was somebody's girlfriend. You're like, I thought she had no boyfriend, so I thought
But
this
there
was
is,
cool.
but once you don't hit somebody immediately, your brain is giving you reasons not to hit them. Like
Right.
your brain is trying to de-escalate. And so when a guy is like, like, dude, I'm so sorry. You're just like, well, fuck. Now if I hit him, it's like it's been a few seconds. My brain is telling me like it's over. You missed your window.
Well, yeah. I think it's also like it's hard also to maybe like hit someone if they don't like if they hit your girl, that's licensed to hit someone.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like it would suck if someone just like said something, you hit a guy, and then he presses charges. It's like totally possible.
Dude, my mom.
I hate
is
to
like,
do this. I really need to pee. Can you guys continue?
Yeah, of
now?
course.
Yeah.
My mom was like is the queen of like, hey, I saw this one scenario. Like she was when we were like starting to go to the bars, she would be the mom who'd be like, hey, don't get in a bar fight because, and then she would say like the craziest news stories, like because there was a bar fight the other night and one guy hit another guy and he fell and hit his head on the cement. He's dead now.
Yeah.
And like she was the mom who would always bring that up, and you're like, Mom, like I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
But also like most likely that would never happen. But she would just be like, yeah, you can never be too careful. You might hit one guy and he immediately cracks his head open and now you're in jail for the rest of your life. I was like,
And then
true,
you go to jail for
true.
murder.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, it's fucked up. There was a period of my life where my friends would just get into so many fights. They're just like all Irish Catholic kids. and
Yeah.
a lot of them liked fighting.
Oh yeah.
And I just avoided it so much. But yeah, like one of my friends there's like multiple occasions where someone like had wronged him, like when we were kids.
Yeah.
And then he'd be at a bar and just out of left field punch this guy in the face, and I'm like, this guy has no idea he's about to get hit. Like, you could literally really fucking hurt somebody.
I feel like you gotta be like, let's fight.
Yeah, let's fight. Let's step outside. But to just go up and cold clock someone
that's
is
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
There's one fight, so one of my friends hits a kid over the head with a bottle. I'm like, bro, you could literally go to jail. Like, you have to.
I think people though who are wired to like be like, we gotta fight, they don't. That's like part of their wiring is like, I'm not thinking of the next thing.
Yeah, because you're
just
so
seeing red.
impulsive. Yeah, it's just
Like
in
that's
the moment,
part of the reason why they like to fight a lot is because they're like, no, it's right now, and it's like, yeah, but what if X, Y, or Z happens?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a what the fuck. I don't
Which
know.
I'm always. That's the.
Yeah.
Also, there's a kid from my neighborhood who was like one of the older kids, but he was like this huge Irish guy, like 6'4" Irish kid, and I just would see the outcomes of some fights he was in, and I was like, I'd never want to be in a fight because like there was a kid that was on a feeding tube for months after he fought this kid, and it was just like it scared me off fighting because I'm like, there's people that are like that. Like he's big, you could tell he's.
Yeah, but
like,
I'm never like, what if I fuck this guy up so much he's gonna be on a feeding tube?
No, I wouldn't be that
I'm
guy.
like,
I'm
I'm
saying
gonna be
that
the
guy
feeding
would
tube.
fuck me up.
Yeah. I'm the feeding tube guy.
I'm the feeding tube guy.
100%. I'm the feeding tube.
Yeah,
guy.
100%. So like, I just knowing those people exist from a young age, I'm just like, I've never been interested in fighting because I'm like, I've seen just horrible outcomes.
You know what I
Horrible
kind of
outcomes.
want right now? Now that you mentioned the feeding tube thing, I really want like an injury where I could just take a break for a month from everything, but like have an excuse to take a break.
Yeah.
Like maybe if I could just like break my ankle right about now.
ACL.
Yeah, something like that.
ACL's a good one.
What's like the best hospitalization where you don't have a lot of serious repercussions?
I think ACL might be the best one.
Would you go to the hospital for that though?
Oh, well, I guess you just need.
You wouldn't be
surgery.
laid up for a month, but you'd have to have surgery.
I just want a week off of everything, but I have no excuse to give myself a week off because I haven't been productive enough.
My grandfather's in the. I mean, he's fine. He's in the hospital, but he went for like being old and dehydrated.
Yeah,
So you
see,
can do
I
that.
can't- Yeah.
Why don't you
want
just give yourself a week off?
because I have not earned it. Like Christmas, I just was like crazy and partied in Florida. I mean, I did a bunch of shows, but I didn't really like. And then this month, I've been like kind of productive, but I'm like, I don't know. I want to like, I need an excuse to do nothing.
Week off from what? What are you looking for a week off from?
Just everything. I just need.
Like comedy and work.
Yeah.
Do you work? Are you working?
Yeah.
Yeah, so comedy and work.
Yeah.
That's doable.
But it's like I don't know because I took 5 days off comedy in December, which isn't that much, but I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I haven't earned enough to like take a week off.
There's no such thing as earning. It's
Yeah.
just needing. If
Yeah.
you need it, you need it. I don't think you have to, because if you just wait till you earn it, you're just gonna like half-ass everything and leave. You know what I'm saying?
But I also want the empathy of being in the hospital.
Yeah,
I
being in the
I
hospital,
want some
yeah.
nice texts and
Being
stuff
like-
like that.
Yeah.
gunshot. There you
Yeah,
go. Getting
I
shot
mean,
in the leg.
honestly, like save somebody.
Yeah.
You get shot in the leg, perfect hospitalization.
Yeah.
This is gonna be like a thing where I fucking like jinx myself and get like a serious car accident like
Yeah. It's the
tomorrow.
last podcast you ever do.
Yeah.
Fucking dead now.
My dad. So when we were kids, we were in. We did like a European vacation, and my dad. We were in Switzerland. It was the last day of the vacation, and he's like, I would love to take like a helicopter ride. That'd be so cool. And then we took a mountain bike trip and flipped over and broke his neck. He's fine because like the Red Cross, so like he's like basically totally healed. But it's just such a funny thing to be like, man, I really wish I could take a helicopter and then get airlifted.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And I didn't.
Oh, you got airlifted?
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
Damn.
that's crazy.
And I didn't know. The funny part is I didn't know that my parents had conversations like before the surgery where they're like, if he's on life support, do we pull the plug? And like I was just like out of the room for that. Apparently, there was like really intense discussions.
Fuck.
And I was
dude.
just like, hospitals are smelly, but like low key,
Yeah.
my parents are like, you might never walk again.
Yeah, you might have no father, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your Batman origin story.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
you'd be doing this still if you?
Probably. I think if I did, I think I would have started earlier probably if I didn't have a dad.
Chris Brown has Chris Brown the comic.
Yeah.
Has a joke about like dads holding you back, and it is kind of true. Sometimes I think your dad holds you back because your moms are always like you could literally do anything.
Yeah.
You could be like the greatest whatever you want to be, but dads are just so much more reasonable that they're like, you should, you're not going to be in the NBA. You're 5'6". You know what I'm saying? Like they tell you shit. So like you kind of lose dreams because of your dad.
Oh, totally. Yeah, my dad's never once been like, you're going to be a successful guy. And my mom, my dad definitely does not think I'm going to be successful in comedy at all. Like, I think he is zero.
What type
zero
of family are you from, though? Are you from like both parents have like? It sounds like good jobs and stuff.
So my mom doesn't have a job.
Okay, so your dad must have a good job.
Yeah, my dad has a good job. But it's like I think it is like I wonder. My mom is like supportive, but I wonder like if that's just. I wonder if she's just like, you're gonna do great. Like I wonder if it's just mom
Right,
stuff
maternal.
versus.
Dude,
but she did ask me one time. She's like, "Why do you think you will be successful?" And I had to like map out reasons.
Yeah.
And I was like,
brutal. Yeah, my parents have never done that. I do wonder, like, I just want to know, like, not even about the success because, like, they've actually been pretty, like, they're very, like, it's your life.
yeah.
They're like, because both of them, like, my mom was a social worker. My dad, like, it's not like they were, like, white collar. I feel like probably the higher up your parents are, they're like, you better fucking do.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Whereas, like, my parents had good middle class jobs, but it wasn't like they were like, and someday you'll run the company, son. My mom was a fucking social worker for 45 years, and my dad was like, but so, like, I don't even really worry about them, like, being like, you're making it or not making it. I honestly just want to be like, I dropped a special a few months ago, and we don't talk about my work, like, we don't talk about jokes, but I know they watched it, and you're just like, what was the comment? Like, I just want to be like, fuck, dude. Not even like, because it's like they're my parents, so my sense of humor probably isn't theirs. But you're like, are they just like, God, is that what our son?
Yeah.
You know, like
That's so funny.
that's what I worry about more. Is they're just like, oh, you're doing a squirting joke, you know? Like you're just like,
That is my parents.
that's the
For
type
sure.
of shit where I'm like, am I just not even a disappointment as like, oh, you should have been a lawyer or whatever, but more like if you're gonna be a comedian, why are you doing this type of comedy?
totally.
That's like my biggest fear.
But there's a weird thing where like I was out on the road recently with Jordan. Her mom came to the show, and her mom is like so active in her career, and they like sat down after, and her mom's like giving her notes about like, and she actually values her mom's opinion. And I was like, this is so, because my parents will just say overwhelmingly positive stuff, but it almost seems like just an easy way out to be like, we're not actually absorbing the content like of what you're saying. They've watched me a few times, but it's like they're active participants and they just always say good stuff. But there's no like, I was like just watching Jordan's mom. I was like, oh shit, my parents would never like actually go line for line like through my set with me. Like, there's no way that would ever happen. They don't care about the comedy like that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
My
Yeah,
brother
yeah.
does. My brother's my biggest fan.
That's cool.
Yeah. But my parents are like this. Like my dad, like my parents tried to listen to my podcast and they were like, they did it for a while. My dad would give me complaints. I'd tell him to stop complaining because I'm not going to change a thing. And then he was like, it eventually just got, he's like, it got grosser. He's like, it got so gross. He's like, I can't listen to it anymore. So he is like, I think my dad is severely like unproud of me, but he's not a dick. Like he's a nice guy, and like I've borrowed money from him, so I can't be mad at him to be like, oh fuck you. It's like, but it is really funny to just be like, this is like he's like, I can't listen to it. He's like, it disturbs me to hear your podcast.
Yeah.
What does your brother do?
He works for my dad. But like we had a really good moment where my brother saw me do a show, and I did really well on it. He's like, yeah, it's fine. But then he saw me like unravel on a show and like really be myself, and he's like, that was awesome. He's like, that was you. That is like, I didn't do as well as I did the first show, but he's like, that was cool to see you like handle the bomb and like kind of win him over a little bit.
Yeah. I can't even perform in front of pretty much any of my family.
I've done it. I hate it.
Like
I can't be myself.
My parents come and I don't like it. The last real rough set I had when it was my brother and his now fiance or now wife, I guess, but they were just dating. It was him, her, and then she brought her parents, and I was like, this is like a small club. It's not like it wasn't like a big. It'd be different if it was like, yo, there's 400 people here, but it was like a 70.
Right.
You know, and I just know where they are truly the entire time. And you're just like, every joke you're like, I wonder if they hated that. You know, like it's just you're not supposed to have that voice when you're on stage.
No, but I want to combat it this way. So like I'm the same way as you. Like, I mean, the idea of my ex-girlfriend's family coming to see me is like the biggest nightmare.
Yeah.
So like I totally understand. But what I want to start doing is just fucking invite every motherfucker to every show to the point where I just don't care anymore, because it's got to be like a good exposure to be like,
that's true.
Like I'm very frustrated with myself comedically, because I'll have these moments where I like even last night where you just have like a lack of authenticity, where like I was gonna do this one joke and then like fucking this set's not going well and I'm like, I'm not gonna do this joke, versus just being like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, you get to a point where you're big enough, people in your life are gonna come see you.
Yeah.
Like your mom, you're like, you know, they're gonna come because it's like, oh, you're doing well. We want to see you do this, and it should be, you should be over that. But it is tough. Like, I don't know. There's this thing where I'm always like, damn, this is what I'm doing with my life, huh? I just feel like that. I just feel the heaviness of it. Like, I don't really feel that when I'm just doing a normal show, but when it's like, damn, these people know me off stage very well. It's weird to be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's just like, you're just like, I am telling you this is what I'm pursuing. And like that declaration is kind of like, fuck.
Yeah, totally.
Because no one cares about that at a normal job. Like my brother is in recruiting. He never really had to be like, and I'm a recruiter now and I'm going to sleep on a couch. It's like, he's just like, it's a job. And no one's like, oh, you're recruiting, huh?
Yeah.
This is what you're going to do with your life. Like this is like, no, he has a good job. He makes good money. But like when you do comedy, people are like, there's so many arrows they can sling at you. Like, you're never that funny, or, oh,
totally.
Dude, the amount of people who will be like, oh, he was always so quiet. I didn't think,
I
you
get
know,
the
like,
quiet all
it's
the
like,
time.
I was thinking of fucked up jokes all the time.
Yeah,
but like, you know,
I was roasting you in my brain.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is like, that's like such a weird thing. It almost seems easier when families are like, we don't support him and we just let him, like,
I envy that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're like,
overwhelmingly support, because they won't even do the like, that's really what you're doing. I would welcome that. It's kind of like just like a positive version of that. Like, oh, you're just doing comedy now. That's great.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm like, all right. I don't feel, it doesn't feel genuine. Doesn't feel genuine at all. But yeah, it's just like, it makes you feel like, it makes you feel pathetic. Because you're like, everyone's telling me I'm doing great.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I am.
Right.
So it feels like everyone's lying to me.
Yeah.
but
And
you're
I'm just
doing
like
great though.
But I'm just saying, like, not really. Like, not as far as, like, making a career. Like, not by the comparison of my other family members. You know, your cousin who's an engineer that, like, makes hundreds of thousands a year and actually is building something. And you're like, I'm literally, like, working on a joke about incest right now. You know, it's just a little hard to
it's
take
very
them
weird.
seriously in that context.
Yeah.
Like, hearing it from a comic's nice. Hearing it from your aunt is terrible. You know? It's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and the hard part is this: the truth is, it really doesn't matter what those people think of you.
No, because they're just people like anything else.
Yeah, and it's like it's like if they think you're like a loser, it doesn't. They still love you. They're just feeling bad for you.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they still will have a relationship with you. So that doesn't matter. All that's going on is in your head. You're feeling that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not an agent. They're not a booker
Yeah.
at a comedy club. So it really doesn't matter. But it really does affect you more than not more than, but like in your mind, you're like, oh, but it's like it's all
Well,
mental.
just because they like, dude, they literally like changed your diapers
Yeah.
for them to also be like, yeah, my son's a comic. Yeah, you're
yeah,
just
it's like you clean shit out of my asshole.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I mean, overall, like my family is pretty cool about it, and I think it's more internal shit than it's not from them. Like I just more
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like the worry of things than it actually probably is like their actual judgment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
totally.
people really aren't. People are so self-centered.
Yeah.
that they're thinking about their shit all the time. They're like, oh, he's doing that thing,
Yeah.
or like it's maybe a little weird and not as cool as I thought it was, but like whatever.
It's so funny. You always think about people thinking they're like they hate me, whatever, and it's like if you could read their minds, they're just like they hate me. They're like,
Yeah.
everyone's thinking the same thing, you know?
Oh, they think I'm not cool because I'm not a comic.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking loser. They think I'm such a sellout.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna show them I'm cool by smoking this joint in front of them.
I
Yeah.
wonder, like, especially post-pandemic, like that level of like internalized awkward that like is projected out as like this awkward interaction is like it's like an epidemic. Like everyone has it, and I never know, like, do these people hate me or do they hate themselves and think I hate them? It's like a constant.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, well, and I think the thing too is like I have that constantly. It's like I think overall I have a lot of confidence, but it's up and down. It's like some days I really think people hate me for like no fucking reason.
Dude,
like my
yeah.
roommates, I'll be like, they fucking hate me because I came in drunk last night, and they like, yeah, but it's not really what's happening. It's
No. And honestly, it's like even if they do hate you, it's kind of like, I mean, maybe not the roommate situation because you're being a dick, but just in general, if you have like an interaction, we're like, oh, I don't know, maybe that went well, maybe that didn't. Like I like notice like as I've gotten older, I'm like, I do care less and less.
yeah,
Not even like a brag thing, just like you just start to realize like every year you get older, like life is short. If this person doesn't like me, I'm not gonna like fret about it. I used to be like, you used to be like asking people like, do you think they fucking hate? And now I'm just like, that was weird, but at the end of the day, the worst thing is somebody hates you.
yeah.
There's 8 billion people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You start to like lose a little bit of that as you age, which is not, at least for me.
You also burn out from caring. Like
Yeah.
you just like are like I'm too tired to care.
Yeah.
And then it just like the being authentic stuff just becomes so much easier because you're like it's actually less like it takes effort to be authentic when you're younger, but when you get older, you're like it's like so hard to fake it.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to fake it. So I have to be authentic because it's like the lazy route actually.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, totally.
It's
yeah.
just easier.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me because I'm like 28, so I'm still in that point where I'm like, still like, ooh, people like I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like that. There's still that little voice in my head that like is.
I mean, I think that's always probably there to some extent. Like some people are better at it than others, but I just think time kind of erodes that from you because you're just like, you just start to think about it logically. Like, okay, this person and I had this thing. Like, how many times have I had a weird interaction and then I left and going, I hate that person. Like, there's like 5 people on planet Earth that I hate.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like because it's like most of it is like they like fucked me over in a way that's like
Right.
kind of more unforgivable.
or they're doing better online than me.
Or they're doing
Yeah.
I'm
Well, there's-
annoyed by a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of annoying. Also, there's like so many people you think you hate, and then you totally forget why.
Yeah, then you have a
There's
conversation with
literally
them.
like 3 people that probably have wronged you enough that it's like a lifelong grudge.
People have wronged me way worse, and I don't hate them than people who I hate for no reason. Like I'll see a guy wearing like a hat I don't like, and I'm like, fuck that piece of shit. But then like my friend has like stolen from me and
Yeah.
like fought me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I don't know.
Always.
Yeah, I don't know. You just like, because at some point you're going to be like, all right, I've entered this kind of last phase of my life. And I feel like the people who are happiest they get that knowledge earlier. They're like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
What is actually important?
Yeah.
And then you go from there.
Yeah.
That's like the whole like trick of all life is just like, all right, it's going to end. Reverse engineer that. Do I want to remember a day where I was like pissed?
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And then if you can get a lot of I mean, obviously you're human, so you're going to have bad ones. But if you can get more of those days stacked up, you're like, oh yeah, like this was awkward, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
Well, it's also funny to like think of somebody that hates you and be mad that they don't like you because they don't like you because they think different than you. But it's like I'm trying to think of a way to like
There's
conceptualize.
like a few people I know who like definitely don't like me, and like I'm okay with that because the reasons they don't like me I find completely bitch made.
Yeah, when it's like in your brain is built a certain way that's different than theirs. So it's like they don't like me, but I clearly like they're my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've built this person. So they don't like the person that I built. So why would I care if they liked me? Because this is who I am.
Yeah. If someone doesn't like you because you said something you genuinely believe, then who cares?
Yeah.
If someone
Yeah.
doesn't like you because you said something you thought they wanted to hear, and they're like, "Oh, that's actually retarded," and you're like, "Oh, I think that it's retarded too," but I just was trying to please you. Then you have to hate yourself.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like that's when it. So that's why it's like, it's just easier to be like yourself. I mean, it's hard, but it's like it becomes so much easier because how many times you've said something you didn't believe, and then people judge you for it. And you're
Dude,
like,
that
I'm
was-
just gonna. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump 2024. You know, you can't be ashamed
Trump 2028, bro.
of it.
Yeah, that is a funny thing too. I was yeah, it's really funny. Like, cause it happens. Sometimes you just say things like, I've said so many times when somebody does something that I don't think is actually racist, I'll be like, yeah, that's so racist. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't actually think that's racist. I was like, I just don't want you to think I'm racist.
Dude, I've been in like some long car rides where like, of course, the fucking conversation somehow shifts to politics, and you're like, and I'm not like right. Well, I'm just like pretty much centrist. Like I'm very liberal on some issues, conservative on others, and like I feel like I'm stepping over landmines right now, and
Yeah.
everything I'm saying is a complete fraud.
and
And it's just so that I could coexist with this person for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I hate myself after, especially if I say something and they're like, "Oh, that's dumb," and I'm like, "Fuck, I think that's dumb too," but it's too late.
You're like, yeah, you're right. I think blackface to get away with a crime is actually pretty.
Yeah.
If the mics weren't on, I would have agreed.
Yeah.
Well, and dating is like impossible because like my favorite thing are like when you see on dating profiles or women like if you're a Trump supporter, swipe right, and it's like way to just give me a roadmap directly to your pussy because it's like you think somebody's not gonna lie to fuck you. It's like that's insane.
Well, there's an
Yeah.
Always Sunny episode where they're talking about dating Gen Z, and he's like, all you have to do is just repeat whatever they said back to them.
yeah,
You know, they're like, I think, there needs to be a revolution. It's like, I do think there needs to be a revolution. You just have to, you're like, it's almost easier to do that than even come up with your own fake opinion.
Yeah.
Just say the exact thing.
But I am at the point too where it's like with dating, it's like there's no time. It doesn't make sense for me to be not who I am. So I'm like, but I'm not a political guy, so I default completely to I'm not political. I didn't vote. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not
I go
political
I'm
guy
left.
at all.
I go I'm left leaning, but like I didn't vote.
I mean, I voted Kamala. I regret it.
I was a traitor to my own cause.
But we're
Yeah.
we're at a fucking hour now. Is there
Hell yeah.
anything you guys want to promote?
I have a special out on YouTube called Live from Portland. It's been out since October, so yeah, go check that out. That's really all I'm trying to get. Just a few more views each day.
I would also like to promote Jake's special Live
Yeah,
in Portland
there
on
we
YouTube.
go.
Jake Velazquez has been a huge supporter of the numbers. The numbers game. He was a big check-in guy
I
early
check
on.
in.
He goes, "How the numbers doing?"
You got to check in.
Gotta check in.
I have like 2 or 3 friends put a special out in the past year, and there was like for the 4 months after it came out, I would check it as though it was my own.
yeah.
See how they're doing.
Yeah.
He's a supportive guy. You share my reels before. He's a good guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Yeah.
I'm here to support.
Jake is here for the cause.
I'm here for the cause.
Yeah.
Anything you want to promote?
No, I got nothing. I truly have nothing to promote. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.